Hello and welcome to this presentation about whispering voice assistants. My name is Emmi Parviainen and together with Louise Juul Søndergaard we present a research design project that explores how whispering influences the way people experience and also interact with voice assistants. In this paper we present how whispering opens up new dimensions of how and when voice interaction could be used. We propose that designers of whispering voice systems should reflect on how they facilitate the experiential qualities of creepiness, trust, and also intimacy, and reflect on the potential challenges that whispering brings to the relation between a user and a voice assistant. So today it feels sort of like machines have overpopulated the world with sounds. At the same time, at least here in Western societies, volume has been considered as power, and people have been showing importance and authority by raising their voice. However, whispering, even though it's quite weak in volume, is used to communicate various moods, feelings, and contexts in human interaction, probably more than any other voice modality. And therefore, we think that it challenges the assumption that volume really is power. So in the late 2018, Amazon introduced a new way to interact with Alexa. This is called a whisper mode. So when a user whispers to Alexa, Alexa will whisper back. And this allows a user to interact with voice assistant in contexts where speaking with full volume would not be ideal. For example, when there's a sleeping baby in the same room. And despite Amazon highlighting the useful properties of whispering, users of Alexa began to label the behavior as quite creepy. One reason being that whispering pushes against the traditional social norms of machine-like voice assistants. Something like whispering is very human-like. It's not something that machines should know how to do. So if you have not heard how whispering Alexa sounds like and now you wonder, let me just play a little clip.
Alexa, tell me a secret. I don't have any secrets to share. Alexa, is it winter? It's not winter in your current location. It's autumn. Oh my gosh. Alexa, do you know the Muffin Man? I've never met him, but I do know his sister, Madame Macaroon. She's a little bit nutty, but sweet. What the Alexa, do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. Alexa, tell me the truth. You can't handle the truth. That seemed like a threat. Alexa, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck all the wood he could chuck. A woodchuck could chuck wood.
This is terrifying.
This is the worst thing that I've ever witnessed in my life or had to hear. If accidentally a whisper went off in my apartment and I was alone, I would cry. I would leave, I would move.
So, since there are no previous research done about whispering voice assistants, we want to explore this topic and we carried out a research design project. So here we used a design fiction method such as a co-speculation workshop, a design probe, and also a production of a short film. And these were to inquire the future opportunities, but also the challenges of using whispering as a voice modality in voice systems. So through this design project, we came to understand a series of dimensions and experiential qualities of that can be analytically used to better understand this shift in social norms of voice systems, and to also design new experiences of whispering voice systems. These dimensions of whispering, like we like to call them, propose new possibilities of what and how and where to interact with their voice. And these knowledge contributions of ours are not really meant to be viewed as universal guidelines for the design of voice system, but more of a suggestion for future research and also speculation. So the design fiction film that we have illustrates the daily life of our protagonist Andrea, and how she uses whispering to interact with her voice system called One. One of the first scenes that we have explores how whispering could be used to maintain a calm environment at home. For example, one of our participants expressed how he would think it would be more pleasant to wake up if a system would whisper to him. This kind of calm state would be more preferred than Alexa using more vocalized sound. Some participants also felt like it would be convenient if they could reflect on emotions, experiences through whispering. The same participant also illustrated a scenario where she could be using this kind of voice system in public places, like in crowded buses or subways, to relieve anxiety, through whispering. So it would sort of give you emotional support. And to some participants, the assistant would still be more a way to control the devices at your home, like you do nowadays. But for some, it was still kind of more like act as a therapist or advisor. And this is really different than how we think of our assistants today. So we thought it was something very interesting to speculate. And also, some of the participants felt like it would be very amazing if I could also get some help with making decisions in life, And this is also something that we speculate in the short film. What kind of questions would they be, and how much would the user actually trust the assistant's advice? So research shows that whispering creates new experiences of interact with voice systems, and this we named the experiential qualities of whispering. So when our participants in the workshop were initially reacting to the sound of whispering Alexa, many of them described whispering as a bit creepy. And this was because it felt like maybe it was not necessarily always the correct context to whisper. And what is right overall context of whispering is more or less social cultural question, but the participant explained that whispering is creepy when it's socially or contextually not necessary or a norm. Or, for example, when whispering even though no one is around or if there's no need. During nights or, for example, when whispering a laugh. And when participants were to think about whispering to the future voice system, they expressed that it would make them feel safe and calm, cared for, even intimate. And it makes sense because it also brings a sense of closeness, since in order for you to whisper to your assistant, you need the assistant to be within intimate reception by the ear. It must be very close to you. So therefore, you get this emotional but also physical closeness and intimacy with the assistant. Then we also have trust that we describe as sort of willingness to become vulnerable. This is something that we highlight in the short film by showing different kind of questions and how the trust towards the system grows as the day goes by. And the short film also raises several open-ended questions related to the experiential qualities, such as, what are the limits to how human-like we want our technology to be, and how close do we actually want to be with them? And can this trust that is created by increased sense of empathy from this device, can it actually be beneficial to us, or are we just doomed to rely on technology even more in the future? And what does this mean to our freedom of choice and expression? And these questions are hardly resolved by this research, but instead addressed for future speculation to be explored and evaluated in research through design and other empirical studies. We want to thank the Royal Institute of Technology for all the support and encouragement and all the participants who took part in the workshop and the design probe experiment. I want to also thank my friend Karolina Furberg for acting out in the short film, and Nadia Kamba-Wojtek for all the inspiration that she gave me. And I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you so much.